Okay, everybody, sorry again, but Mr. Bruns is sick. I love having a child and a wife, but I'm blaming them for getting me sick again this time. Hopefully all will go better and I'll feel better tomorrow. Today's lesson is one in which I feel like you guys can get just working through the notes with me. I'm going to do the one side of the worksheet right now, the 11.2 worksheet. There's a front and back copy. The back side will be the homework. Your answers are still on the board for last night on the right side. Those were last night's, and I'll get both sheets tomorrow. Okay. So if you remember, the stuff from Friday, a long time ago, was we were simplifying square roots. My wife calls this the loop, swoop, and group method. And so you'll see her notes. You see loop and group. That's what she's referring to. But all we did on Friday was we had a square root such as the square root of 32. And we would break this down by using our factor trees, right? So if it was 32, maybe I do 8 and 4, 2 and 2. I circle my primes. 8's 2 and 4, and 4 is 2 and 2. And if you recall, if they were square roots, that means there's nothing written on the radical symbol, but it's implied to be a 2. If it's a square root, whatever I would have 2 of, again, my wife calls this loop and group. I just call it, whatever you have 2 of, cross those 2 out, and you pull them out as 1. So I have 2 2's, I pull them out as 1 2. 2 more 2's, pull them out as 1 2. And then there's 1 2 left on the inside. And then these 2 are on the outside, so you can multiply them together. Okay, you seemed to do pretty well with that last week. If there was a 3 here, that's implied to be a cubed root. And in that case, you'd have to have 3 of something to pull 1 out. So here I'd have 3 2's, pull 1 out, and then I'd be left with 2 2's still on the inside. Well, 2 times 2 would be 4. So we did square roots, we did cube roots, and we did fourth roots. What I might do, instead of doing the examples, since I talked a little bit longer now than I wanted to, is just explain this, and I'll have the examples worked out as well on the board that the sub can pull up the screen and show you, okay? The only difference today is we're going to throw with variables. We're going to throw variables into the mix as well. Now, let's just assume today that the variables are always positive. That doesn't mean anything to you now, but it will when I come back tomorrow, hopefully, okay? So if I would say something like, what's the square root of x to the 4th, y to the 6th? Let's throw variables in there. Well, there's a long way and there's a short way. The long way is to say, hey, x to the 4th means what I really have is x times x times x times x, and y to the 6th is 6 y's multiplied together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it's the same technique as what we did with just numbers on Friday. Whatever you have 2 of. So if I have 2 x's, cross them out, pull 1 out. 2 y's, pull 1 out. I'm sorry, 2 x's again. 2 y's, pull 1 out. 2 y's, pull 1 out. 2 y's, pull 1 out. Nothing left on the inside. I have x squared and y cubed. Now, that way will work, and it always works. But what if you'd have x to the 12th or x to the 20th? That's a lot of work to do there. Write out 12 x's or 20 of something. So is there a shortcut? Well, if it's like this, it's pretty nice. What times itself would give you x to the 4th? Hopefully you see x squared. What times itself would be y to the 6th? Hopefully you see y cubed. Well, all you really have to do is, if it's a square root, that means, again, no number written there. It's implied to be a 2, but no number written there. If it's a square root, just take this 2 and divide it into those exponents. 2 divides into 4 twice. 2 divides into 6 3 times. And that's it. If it wouldn't go in there evenly and there'd be some left, those would stay on the inside. So if I had the square root of x to the 7th, y to the 11th. Okay, it's a square root, right? So 2 divides into 7 3 times, correct? With 1x left over. You don't have to put that 1, but I'll just emphasize it. 2 divides into 11 5 times with 1y left over. And that would be your answer. Again, think about it. If I have 7 x's, how many groups of 2 do I have? That's really just division. If I have 7 x's, how many groups of 2? I have 3 groups with 1 x left over. 11 y's, I have 5 groups with 1 y left over. If they throw numbers in there with you, if they throw numbers in there as well, 20x to the 5th, just do them each separate. Do the 20 like we did on Friday, and do the x to the 5th like we did here today. So 20, factor tree, 4 and 5. 4 is 2 and 2. I have 2 2's. I leave a 5 on the inside. There's different rules though, okay? Those are the coefficients, the 20, the number. Now, how many times does 2 divide into 5? Twice. How many groups of 2 are there? And then there's 1x left over. This big expression is your answer, and they're all multiplied together there. But that's as far as you can go. As you can imagine then, if I threw a cube root or a 4th root, it would be the same as what it was the other day. If I had this, again, how many groups of 3? Long way is you could write these out. X to the 8th, y to the 12th. Shortcut is just divide by this 3. 3 divides into 8 how many times? Twice. How many are left over? There's still 2 left over, right? Because 3 goes into 6, so there's 2 left over. 3 divides into 12 how many times? 4 times. Nothing left over. Shorten our square root, and that would be our answer. So I think that should get you going on these. Again, I'll put the example problems worked out on the board behind the screen. The back side is the homework. There's a couple, like 16's got a decimal on it. You can skip that one today. The last 2, see if you could divide those. I know they're giant numbers. This is not a worksheet Mr. Bunch created. But see if you could divide those and come up with the answer, okay? A couple of them have a negative out front. That just makes the answer negative. You can do the best you can, help each other, but work and be productive. You can't afford to take a day off, and here, although Mr. Pence is not here, I don't want to get you sick, so hopefully I'll be all better and be back at it tomorrow. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.